Hey guys, so in this video I'll be explaining to you how I made the P-switch from Super Mario, and this is how it goes. So at first you would notice that um, you see this little thing over here, the square, and if you were to hit it, you have to collect 8 coins and then you get a user coin. And what's funny is that you can have it multiple times. But if you don't really make it in time, this is what's happening. If you hit the limit, so yeah, and I'm gonna explain you how I made it. So in here, I'm going to be explaining to you all of this stuff over here before I move on to the others. So this line over here, basically what this does, when this trigger hits, then all this executes. This is like the start of the coin collecting. And as you can see over here, this is these are the sound effects when you hit the first one, the first coin, the second coin, third coin, fourth coin. So it makes this sound and it goes higher. And these item compare triggers are to check if the item ID is 1, 2, 3, or 4, and all this is the fifth one. And these are spawn ordered, so I'll explain to you how I do this. So all this is into this one spawn trigger, and yeah, so we'll explain to you those a little later. This is to make sure that this one executes if the time already hits 8 seconds, and I'll explain you what's here first. So these event triggers are the sound effects for when you collect a user coin, as well as the wood hit, as you can see, this sound when you hit the wood, and this sound effects is it, and these two make up the user coin. Oh, you didn't have my, I did not have my desktop audio on, so here it is. Yeah, this is what it looks like. And this is what it looks like if I didn't make it in time. So yeah, so I'm going to go through some of this stuff here. So toggle 9 is to make sure that the time and collectibles are all invisible. This is to check if the time hit 8 seconds. So if the time hit 8 seconds, then this will execute. The count trigger is to detect um, if if the player hits all 5 coins, then this will most likely be then of course the coin will drop. See, this over here is, so this move trigger is to make sure the coin just bounces down over here. And I'll explain you what these does. So this first one over here is this little thing to go down. The song trigger changes the music, and this one over here is the clock, and this one makes it these go back visible again. This one changes the background and the ground color. This one removes the middle ground, and this one's just starts the time. And at the very end, yeah, this one makes all these like fade to go invisible, and the control trigger stops the time. So as you can see, you notice that it goes back to invisible, because I can't use toggle triggers because they make you go like instant invisible. Edit SFX trigger just basically stops the clocking sound, and this one goes back to this sound again, changes the background again. The time of triggers makes the slow motion effect, and this one is of course the sound effects for these. And so these are just initializing, so you can start all over again. This is detect if it hits 5. This is to go back to this middle ground. This one's to make sure they're invisible again. This one is to make sure they're back up again. I don't know. And this one is to go back, the item count is to go back to 0, and this thing goes, you can have this thing go back up after all these things are initialized. And the reset trigger just resets all these collectibles. This end trigger, just what it does, it ends the level. So yeah. And for the if you don't hit it, so this one over here slows down the song, um, and then like it does all this stuff again. So this one goes back to the song. This one just mutes that song, and this one goes back up again. This one goes back to 0, and technically this goes back invisible, and stuff like that. It's just similar as what I did for this one. I'd copy and paste it. So this one goes back to the original background, stops the sound effects, and make this thing go back invisible again. So yeah, and that is how I built a P switch in Geometry Dash 2.2.